The first phase of learning money is actually failing with money, making a wrong decision, buying something that didn't work out, or getting into investment that was absolutely crap. But a lot of people don't see that as a phase. They think that success means it's only upwards. But success is a dip up, dip up, dip up.
Whatever they say to help you, make you feel good, right? They're not going to feed you the next meal,
Correct.
They're not going to take care of your life, A very classic example when it comes to money, when people face this, is they say that I'm not good with money. I tell you what, that's called BS. If you never invested 100 ringgit, you will never invest 1 million ringgit.
Correct.
So if you tell me that I have no money to invest, therefore I don't invest, that's a lie. The person you hate the most, or you couldn't spend time with, is not anyone else but yourself. You can't even come to peace with yourself. And why? Because
some people know what makes them happy, but then they have this thing that if I do this, then someone will say this about me. If I'm really tight with my finances, I'm struggling. Do I focus on earning or focus on saving?
there's only that much you can do. So there are people who really, the only way is actually.
Welcome to Keepit100 Talks. My name is Thomas Yap, and most people know me as a car enthusiast or the guy that talks about Keepit100. Right now we turned into a podcast. And the reason why we have this podcast is because I want to bring conversations that matter. For my life, I have many breakthroughs because of certain conversations I had with people or listening to other people's conversation. And I want to create this for people. I want this channel, this podcast to be the source where someone's life can really take a new path. So this is what we do. We keep it 100, we keep it real. We bring important topics around mindset, money, and lifestyle. Money is difficult to make. That's what some people say, right? And it's often we hear it from a hidden context of how people talk, right? People get stuck when they see something they want and then they go, they hesitate, right? Because there's this underlying context that money is difficult to earn. And I'm also one of those people who actually had that mentality when I was younger. And I know it's a very sensitive topic to talk about, but I think we need to talk about it. And I think like anything in life, the more we talk about it, the more we get distinctions, breakthroughs, and a different ways to look about it. And that's why we have this podcast, Keep It 100, where we bring important topics like this, right? Mindset, money, and lifestyle. So today we have Peter over here. Thank you so much, Peter, from MrMoneyTV. But most people know you from I know you as MrMoneyTV.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me, Thomas. I also watch your stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love all the car things. Yeah.
I went to pick him up earlier, and then I was trying to tell him I'm the Grab driver. He won't believe me. Yeah.
In fact, the moment I saw his car roll up, I was like, I straight away walk out because I know it's his car. I always see it on social media.
Anyways, Peter, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, the reason why we want to bring people like Peter over here is because we want people who are comfortable talking about money. It's a very important topic, don't you think? It's essential.
Yes.
Yeah. But I like what you've been doing with your channel and everything that you do is because you bring this important topic up front. Sometimes it can be a taboo, sometimes it can be something people avoid, but you seem very comfortable talking about it, and I'm sure that you empowered many people in your community around money.
I hope it's done what it needs to do.
Yeah. It did, even for me. Like I actually enjoy your content, right?
Well, thank you so much.
So guys, I know early promotion, if you can just find Mr. Money, I'm going to put a link in the description below for you to sign up to his channel, right? So maybe we'll start by asking you this question. I think this is something I asked you earlier, but I'd like everyone to hear this. I think it was a really cool story. How did you get started with what you do?
So this is a little bit of a long story, but what happened is that I've actually always been talking about money, just to let you guys know, right? Yeah. So that's not something new for me. I started off as an insurance agent in unit trust. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been always helping people to plan their finance, right? Because you need to sell them insurance and unit trust. So therefore, it's always part of the story. I did that at the moment I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah. After graduation, I worked for about 6 months. I realized that, I just couldn't work for people. And that moment is not like I'm super passionate about finance. It's just that I see it as the easiest way to start a business without the risk needed. It's just like MLM or whatsoever, right? Yeah. Because if I were to open a restaurant, it's too much money.
Yes.
And coming from a family who wasn't rich, right? And my father failed in his business. Yeah. You're definitely very afraid to take out say 50,000 or 100,000 to start business. Yeah. And even if I want, my family doesn't have that because we are not from a rich family. So when I did insurance, I did quite well actually for the next 10 years until one day I became a manager and I started realizing that maybe it's not really something I want to do for the rest of my life. I was going through some sort of a midlife crisis, right? A quarter life crisis.
Quarter lah, not me, right?
Quarter lah. Yeah, midlife is coming soon. That's when. That's why I'm watching your show. Waiting for the 2-seater during midlife, right? Yeah.
So I've already got my midlife crisis, right?
No. So quarter life crisis, and I thought to myself, like, is there any way that I can actually make money without needing to sell, but I enjoy the part of educating people. And I thought to myself, maybe I want to build a product. Maybe I want to be a programmer, build a product, sell some fintech stuff, right?
When was this? 2000?
That was in 2018.
18,
Yeah.
okay.
Because what happened was that that time I got married, my brother-in-law was in fintech.
Okay.
So one day he approached me and he told me that, hey, do you know that the world is really changing, right?
Yeah.
And fintech will be growing, and middlemen like agents will be much more competitive over a long run.
Yeah.
Right. So you may want to look at this area. He just said something, show me some communications from Bank Negara and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's really exciting. And I thought to myself, yeah, I think maybe there's something I want to do. So I decided at the point that if I will start a business. And I remember that moment my friend approached me and say, hey, we are starting an independent advisory firm. Would you like to be part of it? And I thought, hey, okay, at least I'm moving away from just selling a single product. Seems more professional in that sense. So I joined that friend for a while, taking out some money, joined them, and failed fabulously. Yeah,
I would use fabulously.
Yeah. That was my first venture, so I did fail, right? And I got married at the same time, right? So I was in debt, heavy debt, right? Not super big, but like in the range of about 50K like that.
It's tougher when you have a young one coming, right?
Yes, a young one coming. And I thought to myself, like, okay, maybe I should just start coding, build a product. And as I was trying my hands on it, I realized that it's pretty hard to learn. And it's not just about learning it. You need to adapt it. You need someone to guide you and stuff. So I realized that all these resources weren't available to me. And that moment, we started seeing influencers emerging in the market. Yeah, the time Facebook had the first evolution where they allow you to embed a YouTube link.
Yeah. I have no clue about that.
Yeah.
But it sounds. I mean, if I dig myself back then, and that sounds revolutionary, right?
Right. Yeah.
So last time when you put in you get nothing. Last time.
Remember that time, the early days of Facebook, right? I assume we're both about the same.
Yes.
Facebook first came out.
Yeah.
It was just writings.
Writing, maybe
and
then
at one
photos.
point, suddenly there was videos.
Yeah.
So that was the changing point. Yeah. And I recall at the point we started seeing also influencer marketing coming about. And my manager back then told me this thing, hey Peter, you can talk, you know. They are influencers. And I see people starting to be able to use this to attract people to buy insurance and do financial planning. Why not you use this to do sales?
Yeah.
I thought to myself, like, hey, that sounds pretty good as an idea, but I think I can do it without selling something and build maybe a fintech company out of it, right? And since I do not know whether I can code yet, I know in the end I need to sell one.
Yeah.
So might as well I just do something first. So then I started recording video and throwing it up. And until today, I haven't built a product on my own. But end of the day, it became a media company.
Yeah.
So I did not build a fintech until now, but I end up building a multi-channel media business.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was how it happened.
It's excellent, man. I mean, I was just sharing with Peter on the way here, and I really admire the fact that you sort of concocted what you wanted, and then you really gone for it. I'm sure the beginning wasn't easy, right?
It was tough because the time was about like say 50,000 in debt, and I looked good during that time because you know, being a successful insurance manager and a own firm, I was driving a nice a 3 Series. I was looking great on the outside, but every day you're actually just suffering because you just failed in one business. You just got married with that as well, right? Yeah, and my first kid is coming along, and in all my thoughts that I can support the family with my single income, before all this happened, I got my wife to quit the job. I still remember when I was looking at a lot of my friends, they started to get babies. They were talking about where to go for giving for the labor, right?
Yeah.
And they all talked about which private hospital and so on. And I looked at my wife. We were like, the only option we can is actually government hospital at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had to. I felt bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what she did.
Wow.
And we got our first kid in the government hospital. I posted my first video one day or the day itself when my son was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your first MrMoneyTV video.
Yes.
Shit. Wow.
Yeah. So it was a tough period. Really a tough period.
Thanks for sharing, man. It takes a lot of courage to share something so personal, so vulnerable, right? And this is why we have this talk, Keepit100, right? You know, so thank you for
thank you for listening, man.
For sharing this. No, it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring. Yeah. I don't think that there's anyone who is successful that hasn't have their own fair share of failures and also times that you really doubt themselves, you know, because sometimes they look at some people who are successful and say, wow, they're like Superman, man, they're like invulnerable.
Yeah.
But the truth is, across everybody, I'm pretty sure you can attest to this, everyone who has done really well in something, right? They have certain dark times in their lives, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that shapes who you are, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I know I've written down this question, but you know, since we're already here, and I hope this is something that we can extract for everybody, is that what was your greatest lesson in that moment, right? You know,
I think for me the greatest lesson in that moment is it's okay to fall, but it's your responsibility to pull yourself back up and keep moving. I think this is something that kind of drums into me since I was young, because my dad failed in his business, right? And he failed multiple times as well. He was a contractor that did pretty well. I think in Taman C area, there were quite some housing area was under him that he built it up.
Wow.
Yeah, but he wasn't very good in managing cash flow. When he failed multiple times, he just couldn't get himself back in place. I remember my mom said many times that it's hard for him to work for people because being a boss for so long, to work for people is difficult. And it came to a point that he had to work for people again. And because being a construction guy, when you work for people and uneducated, you're not talking about like being a big supervisor. You're talking about going back to lay bricks at 50, 60 years old.
Wow.
Right. And by the time he passed away, he was a security guard. And why he had to do that is because the family really come to a point that we really had no money. Yeah. And I recall my mother always say, like, what the most difficult thing for that is to get back up because you failed so fabulously. And so somehow in my mind is that if you really want to break through in life, you have to pick yourself up even if you fall.
Yes.
That's something that kind of like drums in since I was very, very young. So I think when all these things came to a very, very ugly situation, I think the only thing in my mind is that it's your responsibility to just do whatever necessary, which includes during at the point, being an influencer was nothing fabulous. Yeah.
So you didn't choose it was a necessity as well for you.
Yeah, right? It's just a necessity. Like I was telling you in the car, right? Now, there's 3 ways of actually doing well or people listen to you, right? Is number 1, you got a lot of money. Number 2, you got connection and power. Number 3, people know you. And power, you need money. Now I got no money. The only thing I have right now is a phone with a camera. That looks like the most viable option, right? Wow. So even though you sound like I'm not sure whether people are going to listen to me, but I've been doing sales for my whole life. I'm sure I can talk. So just try your very best to do whatever necessary, even if it requires you to sweep the floor or whatever not. You just got to do what you need to do. You have gone through a similar episode, right?
Similar as well.
Yeah, just
do what it takes, right? Yeah, and you know what you share is really powerful because, like, you know, when you have your back against the wall, when you have no bridge to run to, there's no ship behind your back, right? The only way through is true, right? The only way through is true. That's when all the unimportant things sort of die away. But I think there's 2 types of people. One who, you know, including myself at one point, I used to, you know, be irresponsible by blaming, justifying why I cannot do it, why things are so bad for me. But when it comes to a point where it's really jialat, then you really gotta, you know, sorry for our friends who don't speak Hokkien, when it's really bad, right? Then you gotta figure out, like, the only finger you can point to is yourself, right? Yeah. Because no one's going to save you, right? You can get comfort from your significant other, from your family, but no one's going to save you, right? It's your life, right? And I think in those moments, people like yourself, what I'm hearing is that you sort of reclaim a power and said like, this is everything's up to me. I can figure this out. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because to a certain extent, sometimes when you're in a bad state in your life, right, there will also be people who come with good intention, telling you it's not your fault, right? Yeah. But the truth is, whatever they say to help you, make you feel good, right? They're not gonna feed you the next meal,
Correct.
They're not gonna take care of your life, Yes. They're gonna go back to their own life.
Gold.
Yeah, and really you yourself is responsible to pick yourself up.
Yeah.
So yes, you can cry. Do you think I'm not depressed? I'm bloody depressed at that point, right? But you got no time to be depressed. You deal with that later.
Yeah.
You just push through.
Yeah. Especially when you have a kid coming along. There's a chapter from the 10x rule, Grant Cardone. Like one of my favorite books I've read was the 10x rule. And I was listening to the audio book. And then there was one chapter, I can't remember what it's called, but he liked to call that chapter "Don't Be a Little Bitch." Right? But basically, he's telling people to take responsibility.
That's right.
Right? When you bitch, you don't have power. You cannot take responsibility. So he's like, if I get in an accident, even someone rear ends me, I need to assume that I'm responsible for that.
That's right.
Right? Because if you don't, then all you can do is to be a little bitch, right? And I know how Americans use bitch not as a bad word, because I think the way it's like built in their language, like Gary Vee says the F word is normal for them.
That's right. Yeah.
So I think people's lives start to really transform when they take this moment, like what you just said was gold. Like people can give you comforting words, they can tell you nice things, but end of the day, right, you still got to put that money in your bank account. You got to put food on the table, right? So that's a really cool thing, because you can either listen to people or you can say, okay, what's the work in front of me, and just do it.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, man. It's a really, really powerful story. Yeah. I just jump right in and then we have this conversation. I love it.
There's one part just to share with you as well, right? I think I kind of incorporated that within my company today as well. Yeah. So within my company, there's a story that I always tell anyone who comes in and work for us. This story is very simple. If today me and you come into a meeting and you said something so offensive, I slapped you in the face. Whose fault is it? It's my fault. That's the answer. If we reverse the situation around, I said something and you slapped me in the face, whose fault is it? It's still my fault.
Yes.
Because either way,
yeah.
First, if I slap you, I could have controlled my emotions.
Yeah.
Yes, you can say the worst thing in the world, but it's my responsibility to control my emotions and be an adult. And the fact that if I offend you so much that you slap me, I also should have been an adult and sensitive enough not to say those things. So either way, it's your fault. Because why? I cannot control what you do. I can only control what I do.
100%. 100%. That's responsibility, right? When you're not going like, it's his responsibility to when he's not supposed to say that or he's supposed to do this or that, right? So I got this cartoon voice.
That's the 100% part, right?
Yeah. But it's like when we can point everywhere we are, but we look at ourselves first, right? And how do you think, now since we're on this topic of responsibility, right? How do you think that how can we incorporate that into personal finances, like when it comes to responsibility?
I think here's the same part, right? So just to share with you guys that I think there are two kind of people in this world, right? There's the poor and there's the rich, right? And usually what will happen is that because I come from a poorer side of the spectrum, and when I was young, as I was growing up, I used to blame others. I used to blame my life. I used to look at my friend because I moved from Kajang to PJ. So I grew up in Kajang, and Kajang in a small town. It's not rich, right? The rich are a selected few. So it's like, those are rich, like that. And we are normal family. Because there's normal. When I get PJ, all my friends plays with Hasbro toys, plays with original Monopoly. Only I realized that, the Monopoly I have is actually fake. That moment only I realized that you're poor. Because in PJ, most of my friends goes to overseas and study, and it's a very normal thing. There's nothing rich about going overseas to study. It's just like that. We're just middle and middle upper. For me, it's bloody rich already, right? Because you have to think about, we are urban poor. My dad bankrupt. There were points that we just eat roti canai, for dinners, right? Now, and my response to that was always, you're lucky. And when my friend is able to go overseas and study, my answer is always, you're lucky. Your parents. When my friend started business, my response is always, you're lucky. Everything is, you're lucky. Your family. But as I grew older, right, when I went to university, I think, definitely I read the classic book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? And it kind of changed my perspective on things. It made me realize that, hey, am I just being very one-sided to think that other people are lucky and that's the reason why? Have you not thought that actually it's just the way we approach money in a very, very different manner? When they say that I want to start a business, they're willing to take out 10K. Their response is, how can I make this 10K to grow into 1 million? When someone asks me to take out 10K to build a business, my first response is this, you think I got money? And when you think deeply enough, is it really them, they are lucky, or is it my mindset is a problem? And so that moment onwards, I started changing the way I think. I started telling myself and be very conscious about it. When someone tells me they got a scholarship, it's so bad to a point when I see other people get scholarship, right? You know what I'll say? Is they're lucky. Even though their family is poor, you know. And why do I say is they're lucky? Because my opinion is somehow you manage to get the information about this scholarship. How retarded is that, right? Because at one point, I remember I was telling this friend who got a scholarship, right? And you know what the friend said to me? Teacher announced it in the class, you were playing, you weren't listening. And I was like, oh. Wow, yeah. I got no comeback to that. Like, ouch, yeah. And I was much more an adult. I was already working at the point. And so it's definitely not like one day change, right? It takes a while. But if how it relates to money is this, ultimately your wealth, the money that you're going to have in bank account is literally, yes, there are people who are born with a silver spoon, but a big part of it still comes down to yourself. How are you going to deal with it? Because we also have friends who come from a middle income background, and there are some who actually failed fabulously. And there are some who actually take use of what they have and did well and springboard into something very big in their life. So it still comes out of yourself. Yes, you may come from a family where you don't have that. But it's still your responsibility to bring yourself to that level so you can springboard. So part and parcel of it that I think my mother, here's where the parts that I couldn't control, that is real, is like my mother choosing to send me to a school in Damansara Jaya, where end of the day, many of my friends are middle upper income, giving me this kind of exposure. And I end up speaking English. Actually, English is my second language.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just that
all just my because friends, you hang out in PJ.
And all my friends speak English. I was forced to talk in English. And I like talking. So my English got so well that people thought I'm a banana. These are things that I couldn't control. But the things that I could have controlled was, in my first 2 years, people laughed at my English. If I stopped talking because of that, my English wouldn't have improved, right? And that would have opened me up to a lot more opportunities to even like explain things well in my channel that made us okay as a media company. So taking extreme responsibility in your wealth, in your own future, that is how it actually relates to it.
Obviously, you had like a story around money, or which is like what I heard was like you're lucky or someone else is more lucky than me, right? So for me, it was like I'm not successful enough, I'm not good enough, right? I always have that approach when it comes to money, and stuff. So it okay. I mean, I won't go through the whole story, but basically, at a certain point, we got to let go of that story, and then take a look and like, because I realized that as long as we keep that story, it keeps us away from dealing with the real thing. Right, the story actually prevents us from dealing with the real thing. Like, actually, for example, like at one point I couldn't close sales. Right? I was doing sales as well, right? I have all the stories about how I'm not successful enough. That's why I can't close sales. But it will come to a point. It's like, do I give up that story, or do I say that I have to put money in my bank, right, and just really, really put my ego down, right?
That's
and
right.
Say, what do I do not know about sales, right?
Yes.
No, I really got to find out how to do it, right?
That's right.
Rather than trying to pretend that, I didn't do it because this client, that person, my product,
That's right. That's right.
It really comes down to letting go of that story, right? I think it's a single line or second line. It's very short, man.
That's right. Yeah. It's very true, right? Like a very classic example when it comes to money, when people face this, is they say that I'm not good at money. Yeah. I tell you what, that's called BS.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, if you say you're not good in money, why is it that you make certain purchases and you don't? right? Like for example, you are not willing to invest because you say, I'm not good in money.
Yeah.
The truth is, within your heart, you calculated that it's safer for my money to be in my bank account, and I'm not confident that. And you keep working to save more money and then make sure that the number grow. Or either maybe you choose to take the money or to buy a car, buy a watch or whatnot. How can you not be good in money? You have calculated. It's just that you're not using that calculation on the right place or what, right? So it's ultimately you can't say that I'm not good in money, therefore I can just don't invest in my life. That's as good as a fresh grad saying, right, I'm not good at managing people, therefore I'll never be a manager. Hey, you think you born to know manage people, man? You think you born to know how to start business, man, bro? Yeah, you need to learn one, man. So it's avoiding the responsibility of learning that 100%. Is where people fail at when it comes to personal finance. Yeah.
100% it's a learned skill, right? And a lot of people approach it like it's fixed. Like this is, I'm doomed to be like this forever. I got interest in numbers, therefore you're better in. Hey, you know I failed in maths. I'm
really
bad at mathematics too. Me too. But I love money, right? Yeah. And then I got to learn.
In maths, man, my maths was what? I think my maths, normal maths, form 5 was like probably C or B. Then my ad maths was a fail. Okay, I calculate money now. When there's an RM in front, I'm very happy. So it's not I don't think it's like I say, I don't think it's talent. It's more of a learned skill.
I always like to put it like this, like swimming. Like I tell people like most like money and sales or business, whatever, is like swimming, right? It's not a theoretical skill. I mean, there's some theory skills, but what is a sort of a practical skill because you have to actually apply, right? So I always ask people like, how any one of you learn how to swim by reading a book? Anyone? Of course, no one does, right? Right? So what do you do? What do you do to swim? Then you say, oh, go swim lah. I say, no, you're wrong. You drink water first.
That's true. That's
drink water first, right? So the first phase of learning money is actually failing with money, right? Making a wrong decision, buying something that didn't work out, or buying an investment or getting into an investment that was absolutely crap, right?
That's right.
But a lot of people don't see that as a phase. They think that success means it's only upwards.
That's right.
But success is a dip up, kind of like the stock market, right?
That's right. And what they do, like you say, is that at the moment they have sort of a small failure, they will straight away say this is not for me and they stop investing. Like I think we see that a lot in like especially in the stock market and investment. Like 1997 when the whole market crashed, right? You will meet certain people who actually tell you that ever since 1997 the crash, I've never invested before because our investment is a lie, right? It's a con job. Bro, sure lah, you invested at the highest peak, what? After that you stop, what? So I like to tell people this thing, just like what you say, right? When you go to school last time, did you score 100% throughout? Or you got actually failed in some papers, or you forgot to do some homework, or homework got a wrong answer? Do you ever say, hey, I got the wrong answer. This is a cheating subject, so I don't want to study maths anymore. Where got such thing, man? You go on with it, man. And what you do is that you learn small. You don't tomorrow straight away throw in 1 million and lose it. You start with 1,100. Then you lose that 100, 200. It's just like trading, right? You never start with the biggest amount. You always start with a small amount until you get used to it. Then only you will invest the bigger amount.
My big tip from my mentor was like, we always ask him, what percentage is the stop loss? He say, how much are you willing to lose? Don't talk about percentage. I know your account very big. How much? 100 Sing dollar? Okay, 100 Sing. I don't care how big your account is. If you're willing to lose 100, put 100.
That's right.
If you're not willing to lose 100, then no percentage will help you.
That's right. You will never, that's why I always tell people this thing, right? If you never invested 100 ringgit, you will never invest 1 million ringgit.
Correct.
So if you tell me that I have no money to invest, therefore I don't invest, that's a lie. Because if you don't click the button and say buy at 100 ringgit, if I give you 10K, all the more you'll be hesitant to click that number. Even if you're 1 million also, you don't dare click.
Correct. Correct.
Because it's a practice.
Yes.
That's why there are some people who are full-time investor. They have 1 million in their account, they can buy 1 million. They have 50, they can buy 50 because it's a mindset thing after a while, right?
They're used to it, right?
They're used to it.
And I think we overlap that same thing we talked about earlier, like being able to, because I think a lot of people fail, don't say fail, everyone's going to fail. I mean, two things. I think it's two things. Some people, they get their success and they're so afraid to fail, they keep clinging on to their old success, right? And some people who fail so badly, they are so afraid to fail again. They come up with all kinds of stories other than actually going back in the game, right?
That's right.
Yeah, other than going back in the game and pick yourself up. And then, I think because a lot of people may, and this probably for some people need to hear this, but I think a lot of people say, oh, I'm a failure, but you didn't fail. You just experienced, you are not a failure. You just experienced a failure.
That's right.
But you make this whole story about, like I'm not good with money, right? Because I made some really stupid decisions with money before, right? And I still do.
Yeah, so did I, right?
Yeah, and I still do today. Sometimes I still buy things that doesn't make sense, and I look and say, but can I keep beating myself up, right? And like you say with the whole conversation about slapping and beating each other and then calling names, right? End of the day, I purchase that. I take responsibility and move on. And just really move on, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So I think when we touch that topic, that it's important to be okay with failing, right?
Yes.
It's okay to be failing. I think a lot of people have this illusion that people who are really successful, they don't fail one, right? But I like to think that people who are successful they are successful because they are willing to fail.
That's right.
They're okay with fail. They're like failure lah, come lah. They won't even collapse. It's just like okay lah, it's just like rain. It just rains.
Yeah.
It's just a byproduct.
So this reminds me of a very good advice that a friend once gave me, right? So he's a CEO, a very young CEO. And one day I was having a conversation with him. Then he told me this. He said, "Peter, do you know what's the difference between a CEO and a normal employee, right?" He said, actually, the only difference is, not say only lah, but one very important difference, right, is CEOs or business owners are able to tolerate with uncertainties and they can handle it. And that hit me. Like, actually very true. You think about it, Thomas, right?
Yeah, gold.
Yeah.
Gold.
Like, you have certain friends who will be like, I will only do it if it's 100% success. Right? But why we are on our own thing, right, is because it's just statistic. If got 90% rate of success, okay lah, let's give it a try. If it's 10%, no lah, I'm gonna avoid it. For us, it's more of a math kind of thing. Is the ability to just tolerate that uncertainty of that 20%, 30%, 10%, or even sometimes, yes, 90%. But we know that certain reason why is it gonna work out, right? It's that ability to manage that emotion is very, very key to be successful, especially financially. Now, definitely, I'm not talking about even if let's say employee, you don't take much risk, you can still make millions. I'm talking about like crazy successes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like making great impact kind of thing, right? Whether is it financially or as a career or something you do. Yeah, because it's not just in making money part, but even like, let's say you want to create a community, or even if you want to make a big impact in someone else's life, you are taking a risk.
Some risk, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So
but
if
the way
it's
I look
certain,
at it is,
it's not exciting anymore.
You did say it was a mathematical thing, but I have a different way to look at it though. I mean, I agree with the mathematics, but for me, life is uncertain.
Yeah.
I mean, for all I know, I wouldn't be here we don't know, right?
That's right.
Touch wood. But it is that crazy, right? Anything can happen, right? So, I mean, I don't need to say anything else. I think this is the truth, right? Anything can happen. But if you really grasp how uncertain life is, right, then you start to appreciate that what the time we have in our hands, what we have right now, right? So having an opportunity to do something is great. Like some people don't have the opportunity, right? Maybe they are, I don't know, maybe if you're listening and then some people say, oh, I can't do this because of this, but some people don't have a leg, right? Some people they're amputated. Some people are bedridden. They don't have the opportunity to do that. You have life. You can do something.
That's right.
If life is uncertain, then also many things in life is uncertain now, right? If you can just accept that's the nature of how things are, then it's okay.
You're better off that way.
yeah. And you say something important in the car, you said about like, something about, you say like you have a new motto you wanted to have, right?
Okay. So many people ask me this question, right? Actually, what is the motto of my life? And why I started Mr. Money, and what's that one thing that I want everyone to know?
Yeah.
Which oddly I realize I don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But something that is real is, I always tell people this one thing. The sooner you realize money is not important, the better off you'll be. To learn financial literacy and to be good at money, right, it's never about being good in numbers. It's a byproduct, right? Ultimately, why you want to be good in money, if you think about it, is because you want to lead a better life. If I give you $3 billion sitting in your bank account, right? And you're going to be sad and lonely, right?
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to say no. You'd rather just have 2 million in your bank account and live a simple life, right? Yeah.
Correct,
Okay.
right.
Some people will say, 2 million not simple. Okay, whatever lah.
Yeah.
Right. That's not the point. The point is you'd rather live a simple life, right? And be happy.
Yeah.
Right. So ultimately in life, most of us wants to be happy. And money is just a tool to help you achieve the happiness. I think the danger is when you fall in love with money. When you fall in love with money and you think money is the ultimate goal. And that's how you end up sad and lonely with a lot of money.
or really stressed, right?
Yes.
Seeing money come in, come out, like,
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So the same thing with everything, right? When you love money so much, what happens is that you're earning money for the sake of money instead of earning it for something else, right? Like I'm very aware when I accumulate money, why am I not buying a car? Like I was telling you, it's not that I don't like cars.
Yeah.
I would love to have a nice car right now. But my definition of right now is that I've already driven a BMW 3 Series before. For me, if you ask me to drive a 5 Series today, okay lah. Another car lah. I mean, another car lah.
Yeah.
You know what I would love? I would love to have a Porsche like you. But it's not at my affordability yet, ma. So, never mind lah.
And you got
Let's just
different priorities.
drive the Ativa first lah.
Yeah. And you got different priorities,
And I
right?
got different priorities.
Yeah.
So, because I got kids and all. So, it's okay. I can just drive an Ativa first because it's okay. It's just delayed gratification.
Yeah.
So, I don't come to a point of like, hey, wow, money. I need to show people that I'm rich. I don't need that. And number two, as I accumulate, I'm also very clear of why am I accumulating it for.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So when I accumulate my money, I know exactly that this money is going to go into my children's education or what. And that's the reason why I can take the risk that I'm taking or not taking. Yeah. Because if I know it's for children's education, I got 20 years, I know I can take more risk.
Yeah.
Simple as that. What's there to talk about?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but if let's say I know I need this money tomorrow, I'm not going to go and put it into Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I need money, man.
Yeah.
So that clarity of knowing money is just a tool helps you to plan your life much better and more stress-free. Yes. And yes,
Super solid.
ultimately, you also need to have the ability to know how to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do not know how to make money, that's a whole different ballgame altogether. Yeah.
But what I got all of that was purpose before money.
Yes.
Purpose first.
Yes.
Then only money.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
But not to idolize and make the money the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's just like yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you were telling me just now. For you, car is something that you really love.
Can't stop thinking about it.
You can't stop thinking about
I
it.
got more pictures of my cars than my
but it's
girlfriend.
like, car. Right? Some people say that like, that's not being responsible in money.
Yeah.
No. My question to it actually generally would be, first, are you happy?
Oh, I love it.
You're happy, right?
Yeah.
Are you
That's
struggling to pay your next meal because of your hobbies?
No lah.
No, right?
That's it.
Yeah,
right?
okay lah.
Yeah.
What's there to talk about?
Some people, and then you hear so many things like, he must be irresponsible, blah, 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 or must be dad's money or whatever, right? You know, all these stories show up when they see other people who have what they want or they're envious and then they start creating all these stories. I'm sure people say something like, oh yeah, Peter can do it because he's famous or, right? You know?
So it's really up to you, right?
Yeah, it's up to you, right?
It's really up to you because your life, you're super happy. I've heard of this guy, right? Some time ago, a friend told me his story. He drives a Lexus and he does Grab.
Huh?
You know why?
Why?
And you know what house he live in? He's not rich. It's just his dream to own a Lexus. And so he saved up, he accumulate, and he bought a Lexus and he drive Grab. And the good thing that made it happen for him is his family, his wife, supports him and thinks that that's a good decision. You happy you do lah. Is he feeding his children? He is. Now, yes, some would say you should have things smarter. Maybe don't buy that Lexus. You can send your children to overseas and so on.
Yeah.
Now, I'll put it up there. Is he starving his kids? No, right?
Yeah.
He has his own decision of whatever he want to do. What?
Yeah.
And his responsibility to educate his kids. What? If you think this is the way, it's his kids. Who are you to say that as a parent, he should actually send his kids to overseas? As far as I'm concerned, I'm not from overseas.
Yeah.
I went through the whole local program.
Yeah.
Not my mom got money other way. It's just we were forced to. So it doesn't make them lesser educated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because ultimately, the education is also not measured by the degree that they have or what level of education.
Yeah.
So who are you to judge him?
Yeah.
maybe he's even more happy than you because
Correct.
you're so damn stressed with your life, right?
And then maybe he's happy, and then he can bring more home. He brings more dad at home with the children.
Yeah.
Right? More husband at home,
That's right.
rather than a bitter person.
That's right.
Yeah.
So who are you to judge, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Which is so important. I think we have to stop listening to other people's judgment, right? And just trying to, like you say, why you do this, why you do that, right? You got to know your purpose internally, right? In your compass. So what made you comfortable with okay, I can delay my gratification because you know your purpose. You say, okay, my goal is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's why you're unfazed. Okay, I could have got it, but no, I want this, right?
Yeah.
And then your friends say, hey, right? You say, well, this is what I want, right? So I notice people who have very good money relationship, they also are very sure about their purpose. They're very sure about what they want to do, what they want to create, right? They have their own lane, right? They stay in their lane, right? Yeah, I think that's what I got when I speak to people who are fundamentally good with money. They're good with money not because they're good with money. They're good with money because they have a purpose.
Yeah, you know yourself quite well what you enjoy and what you don't. What do you want to achieve? Yeah.
Yes. And being okay with that, And the worst thing I know Gary Vee talks about is trying to keep up the Johnsons, right? Trying to seek people's approval. I should be looking like this if I'm this kind of person, I need to drive a certain car because I'm this kind of person, right? That's the worst. I think the attachment, I say romantic towards money, right? And I think romantic towards physical things also can become that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you say something very important, something about are you enjoying your hobby and are you still doing it responsibly, right? Yeah. Come back to the first thing, responsibility, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately it's living your life in such a way that makes you happy. And yes, you're right. When someone has a purpose, it makes it much more easier for you to manage money because you know exactly how to allocate resources. And same with time, right? Money is just another resource that we have. Yeah, it's about ultimately achieving your goals. Yes, as a human being, there is certain responsibility. Like for example, as a father, I know there are certain basics that I need to give my kid. Yeah, and so I'm very clear with that. So I don't, as long as that part is fulfilled, whatever I want to do, other things is other things. Like for example, could I have driven a Porsche today? I could have. Yeah, but I choose to reinvest a lot more money into the business and pay my staff much better. The reason being is because I think that's what truly makes me happy as well to build a great business.
Yeah.
So I'm balancing in between these two. And does it mean that I'm very happy every day? No, let's be honest. Humans, we struggle. There are days that I'm stressed. There are days that I ask myself the question, is it really worth it? Yeah. But as long as you're really clear of the purpose, when you assign those resources out, you can be at peace despite of sometimes asking yourself questions. You still have the anchors that anchor you down and say, yes, I'm doing it for a reason. I'm not just being stupid and throwing my money away. Right? Yeah.
Or grabbing every other opportunity, etc., etc. But basically the whole thing comes down is your purpose is your North Star, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
Yeah, sorry, this money conversation became a lot more philosophical than it's supposed to be.
It is meant to be. It is meant to be. Actually, this is why we have this conversation because, just like what you said earlier, I'm not good at trading. I got no money, then I'm not good at trading, right? But actually, it's I'm not good at money, so I got no money, right? It's kind of like chicken egg problem, but it's not, right? I will trade if I have money, or I will do something if I have money, right? Or I will start doing YouTube content until I'm good at talk. When I'm good at talking, only I will start, right?
Impossible.
Vice versa, right? Yeah. There's a lot of people, I think, including myself, used to tell myself these stories about why I can or cannot do something, right? And then just sort of dissolving it and just take a look. Okay, what's my purpose? What do I want to do? What am I going to? What I need to achieve, right? Just being clear with what's in front of you, being responsible about your life. My life wants to be like that. I want my life to be like that. Then this is what I got to do. That's it, period, right? The whole point is that I want people to get that it's not all about money, right? It's conversations around money is not always around money. There's the mindset, right? So it's
right.
Yeah, they're all, I think it's interlinked. Yeah.
That's why if you think about the creation of money itself, right?
Yeah.
We never lived with money until probably in the last few hundred years.
Yeah.
Right? In the past, it was just trading for value.
Yeah.
Barter.
Yeah.
I got cow's meat, I got beef, you got
Vegetable.
chicken, let's change lah, right?
Yeah.
And So when you're doing that in the earliest form is what we call an exchange of value, right?
Yeah.
It's just that along the way we find that it's hard to measure a standard. So therefore people started using a unit of measurement. That's how money came out.
Yeah.
Right? And so the irony is this, right? Then people fall in love with accumulating this unit of measurement.
Yeah.
Because yes, there's certain reason, which is when you accumulate this thing, it allows you to buy options later. So you feel that security that as long as I got a lot of this, even I haven't figured out what I want to do with the thing yet, at least later I can exchange. You think about it this way, right? Yeah, maybe today I want to eat beef, but I haven't figured out whether I want to eat beef yet. So, never mind lah. As long as I got the seashells keeping in my pocket, later I want to buy lamb also can, whatever also can ma.
Yeah. It's
Right?
a stored value. Yeah.
So it's unlike in the past, before money was created, you had to be very decisive. Okay, I'm going to eat lamb today. I need to go look for the lamb guy, right?
Yeah.
And I have the chicken. Probably he will want the veggie from me instead of the chicken. You're going to train yourself to be specific about what value you can offer and what value do you want to extract out of a relationship, right? And I think that is one art that is lost. There's one responsibility that is lost where we forget about that. It makes it easy for human beings to be lazy and just say, let's just accumulate money. Because that's the easiest way to go. So I know you think, I just accumulate money here. Later only I think about what I want. And we become lost track of that. And end of the day, guess what? You fall in love with the money. If you think about it, that's why a lot of younger people today are suffering from, to a certain extent, I'm not an authority in this definitely, and take whatever I say with a pinch of salt and don't cancel me, right? If I say anything wrong, right? I'm just trying to be more bold.
No, it's your opinion, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an opinion, right? I think these days, same as many of the younger generation, your parents we as a parents, because I'm a parent today, right? Sometimes we let our kid have it too easy. We plan out every single thing for them, and therefore there's a lack of need for them to plan for themselves and think about what they want. Because if they want it before they even tell you, you already give it to them. Yeah, and that's why there's that. It's not needed. Yeah, and therefore when it's so untrained, they become less resilient there's a lot of story in between lah, right? But that's the challenges. And number two, if you actually look at COVID time, it was a period that you have heard this story probably. And a lot of people who, when they couldn't go out, they feel depressed. Because every day they are just at home themselves. And the irony is this, you find that the person you hate the most or you couldn't spend time with is not anyone else but yourself. You can't even come to peace with yourself. And why? Because if you think about it, in this very busy world that we live today, right? How many people actually really sit down and think what you truly, truly want, what doesn't make you happy and what makes you happy and what can you do? Yes, we sit around and bitch about things, but that is not being reflective. You're just complaining. I'm talking about true sitting down, reflection, and deep down asking yourself, what truly makes you happy and what doesn't? Are you doing what's necessary? Yeah. And that is something that a lot of people, even in our generation, don't do.
Why do you think people don't have that? I agree with you. That's super powerful, right? But why don't people have that conversation? If you're looking for a way to increase your income and looking for different business to do, I know what most of you are thinking. It's a lot of risk. It's a lot of capital involved. I don't know what to do. And that's why I created Team Infinity Academy, where we not only provide a way for people to get into the business world without forking a lot of capital, but we also provide the education and the vehicle. We have a way that I use to make my money, right? This is the business I run. And I want to teach people how to utilize my business to build a life of their dreams. Now, if you're interested to find out more, there is a preview. We're looking for the right business partners. And inside that business discovery session, you'll find out how this business can support you to build the life that you want to live. If you're interested to find out more, link in the description below. And sign up for one of our webinars. Will be mostly hosted by myself. See you there. That's super powerful, right? But why don't people have that conversation?
Convenience. Number one, it's already uncomfortable. Now, but in the past, there's nothing to do except even TV only come out at 8 o'clock, right? Then you really nothing to do. You're going to stay late. What are you going to do? Go out mamak with your friends, right? Then because you don't have so many news, so when you have a conversation with your friend, you are so well read, you've read every single damn newspaper. If not, what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about each other, right?
Yeah.
Today, if you go out for conversation with your friend,
Yeah.
what you talk about? You talk about what's happening
everything else.
outside.
Everything else.
Because we have a phone that gives us all this information. Number two, when you're uncomfortable, when you're at night sitting down there, you can't sleep, what do? You watch Netflix. It's an easy fix. Yeah. And that is life today. It is good, but it also allows you that escape to deal with the most difficult person to deal with, which is yourself. Right? And I think that is a problem.
No, I think it's a really important question to ask. Like, how do you want to live your life? What you want to do? What makes you happy?
That's right.
Right? And being okay with it, right? Sometimes just being okay with it, because some people know what makes them happy, but then they have this thing that, oh, well, if I do this, then someone will say this about me, right? ABC, right? Also, then the second level, which is first they identify what they are happy with, but they are unable to overcome. Some people won't be happy with their choices, right?
Yeah.
And I think I would think what you say is really true. But I will add on the other thing, is a lot of people they know it and then they don't go for it. And the worst part is when you know it and don't go for it, then inside there you feel what?
Yes, they feel struggle. Like, why am I not doing?
And then regret eats you
and
up.
then the regret, right? Yeah.
And then it's just really tough. I read a book that really helped me see a different angle, which is called Courage to be Disliked. And talking about like the key to be happy in life is, be okay with people disliking you. Be okay with people saying things that they don't agree with you, or people try to cancel you, whatever, right? But like you, I think, sure, you said you're a happy person and you have downtime, uptime, but you're generally a person who is not really constrained. Like, you're very okay with yourself, right? Because you,
I think so.
That's why you share your opinion, right? That's why you put yourself out there, right? I think the fundamental thing is that, being okay, accepting that there will be people who dislike you, right? But so a lot of people, I think there's two types, right? One, people don't spend enough time to know what they want, and some they know, but then
they're not okay. People not liking them,
correct,
or like judging them for certain decisions, right? And there's another book that's very similar by Mark Manson called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. Actually, that's very true. So one of the comments that I get a lot is that I behave the same in front of camera and behind. I think the main thing is that I always start with this position that people don't give a damn about me. You think too highly about yourself that you matter. Actually, it doesn't matter. Actually, people don't care what I wear today. Yes, I may appear in Ativa, I may not be the most sexiest guy, or I may not have the most whatever it is, right? Actually, honestly, people don't really care. They may look at me in the initial 2 seconds and say, oh, but then after that, it doesn't matter. They probably don't even remember 5 years down the road or 1 year down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
And they come and spam on your channel and say something that only for 2 seconds they have your attention, and then they move on to something else.
Correct.
Whatever,
that's
right?
So why do you want to spend time like that, right? So the more important thing is that you get to know yourself, live the life you want, which, I mean, since we are here to talk about money to a certain extent, right, is that the more you know about yourself, you know what you should spend on, you know what you shouldn't spend on. And that's the reason why ultimately people like you say, hey, I love cars, I'm willing to spend on car and it makes me happy, right? Maybe by the time you get a kid, it will be different, right? Then for someone else, it could be that, I just like Warren Buffett wants to accumulate a lot more. There's the other guy who called Chuck Finney, who actually, he's a billionaire, but he donated all his billions. So he's never in the billionaire list. Yeah. So these are real things that you want to live your life to the fullest. And money ultimately is just a resource.
Yep. There's a funny saying I heard from my mentor. He says, money can't buy happiness, but money can solve problems.
That's right.
Money can remove unhappiness, but it will never buy you happiness. The happiness comes from your internal compass.
Yes.
Right? You can have all the money you want. If you don't have an internal compass, you don't know what happiness is like. Money cannot buy it. Right? It will buy you shock. The people take pictures with their cars, or whatever. It's all shock, right? But that's not really happiness. Happiness is really inside knowing that, I like this and I'm enjoying this and taking the moment, So it's not, So, money can solve problems. That's it. It's just what it is. Nothing more than that, right? And like you say, back in the days, money was just a way to exchange to solve certain problems, solve your stomach problem because you're hungry, right? No, solve your kids' problem because they need to eat food, whatever, right? But then fundamentally falling in love with it, that's a very key thing. Not to fall in love with money, not to romanticize or dramatize money.
That's right.
The lack of or the more of money, don't dramatize. Just look at it as it's just a tool, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Wow, so much we talk about. I think that's what we need to talk about. I thank you for bringing all of this into this conversation.
Well, thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
Yeah. There's so much more I want to ask you actually, but we have still some time. So I'll go to some of the questions that we've pinned down, because one of the topics I want to really approach is that some people out there listening, right? I'm sure the first part has really helped you already, right? But there are a lot of people listening, they're thinking, money is hard to make. So what's your opinion on this? Is money hard to make?
To say that it is easy to make is not true as well. But is it really difficult and unapproachable? No. Yeah. Again, I bring it back all the way to barter days, right? Money is actually just an exchange of value. The question that you have to ask is not how to make money, is what value do I have that people are willing to do an exchange with me, right? Like cars, right? Think about it. The car is valuable, that's why.
It's worth the money,
you're describing the sound of the engine and everything all. It's all part of the whole story that the car has built, the whole community that they built, the whole narration, the beauty, the aesthetics, the sound, the media investment as well, right? They definitely
the
invested.
Association.
Like in the past, they talked about the sound, and that's why it stayed as a classic sound, right? So, my point is that don't think about making money. The more you think about making money, the harder it is to make money. That's when you start seeing people take the shortcuts, where either they do things that scams or whatever. That's when it comes, right? Because all you're thinking is how to make money, right? So in that manner, money is easy to make honestly. Yeah, and I think you know that also, like you've seen people, right?
So you say the focus is not about whether money is hard or difficult or easy to make, but it's the focus, because I think what you're trying to say also is that's not so important as what value can I give. That's
right.
Yeah, and that's a more important question to ask.
That's right. Once you have the value, money will come. It's a byproduct.
So how about people who say that, hey, Peter, I got no value. How? I don't know. Okay, I'm just putting on a black hat. Some people may be saying like, well, I got no value. How?
Okay, so people like that, usually, number one, I will ask them to think about it seriously. Do you have value? I think you probably too underestimate yourself. Yeah. But yes, I do agree. There are some people who actually have put aside their own value so much that they've forgotten their value. Right? So you got to go deep and dig. The easiest place is actually, right, do an exercise tomorrow. I consider a normal average human, not someone suffering from different kind of things. I consider a normal average human. Just go out, talk to 10 of your closest friends, right? Ask them, if today you will pay me money to do something, what will it be? If they're dudes, they'll probably start with some funny joke, right?
Then you get serious.
Then they get serious. What do you think is likely something that if you need to ask for help from, what do you think about? Like, what do you think I can contribute?
Solid.
Right?
Yeah.
So probably like for you, right? Your friends will probably be like, if I talk about car, I'll call Thomas,
what car
right?
to buy, which tire to use?
Right? So that's where you came in, right?
Yeah.
And different people that you know, I think when you look at anyone who's successful, you don't start by remembering they're rich. You remember by one thing that they kind of did. And they usually start off with like, that's the thing that people call them for. Like, for example, I know a friend. You call him whenever you want to know whether someone is trusted or not. Because he knows a lot of people. So then the question is that when you have that value, what do you build? And recently what he did is, he became someone who kind of helps businesses to connect when they want to sell. So when you want to sell your business, he comes in as the person, because he's like the top sign that say that this
speed up the whole process.
He knows that you are quite trusted, and he will give both sides a very fair. He will ask you to make sure that you audit each other. So that end up becoming like that. Like for me, people think about me when they need to learn about something, right?
Correct.
So, and that's where, and I happen to be quite okay with the money side because of my years of experience. Then people needed to know about money, they asked me. So I end up building a channel that talks about this, right? Don't think that tomorrow when you walk out and then to find what you're good at honestly don't think it's a one day thing. I think that's a right.
Yeah. I think it's important. Yeah,
it takes a while,
especially in the world of
but you
instant
need
gratification.
You need to take some time and explore, and then ask the friends around you and explore new things as well, because you never know.
Yeah. And of course, once you find out what your friends tell you, you got to hone that, right? You got to keep sharpening it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I'm sure everyone who is good at something, they never stop sharpening it. They always keep improving it.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So
I'm sure that there are haters who will say this one thing. I love sleeping. What can I do with it? Okay, those people, right? I will just tell you one thing, Yeah, if you are gonna tell me that, right, then it's okay, good luck to you.
Hey, if you love sleeping, maybe you can be an expert in choosing the right bed.
That's right. Yeah. Whether I mean,
if I love sleeping, I would. Bed is a good business, man. Jeez, I mean, it's competitive.
They're sleep expert,
Yeah, they're sleep experts. Yeah.
But they didn't become a sleep expert by sleeping, lah. That's the point, lah.
That's the point.
You still need to hone that skill, lah.
Yeah.
So
I'm so skillful. I can sleep deeper than you. Okay, try it, bro.
Then you build all the statistics to prove it. Then okay, can, right? That makes sense,
Yeah, but you're right. No, it's important to. I think there's a very, very practical way to understand your value. By just asking 10 people around there and say, well, if you were to call me something, what would that be, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Super solid. Thanks for that, man. And I want to move on to another topic though. Now this can be also another topic for people. Some people watching this video, or maybe they have no friends who are in this situation. They're crunched. They're crunched with their money, right? Means that their expenses and income is a bit tight. What do you think they need to focus on if this person is listening right now? Now, what if I'm really tight with my finances? I'm struggling. Do I focus on earning or focus on saving?
So there's two kind of people in this situation. The kind who need to save and the kind who need to earn. So what do I mean? If
you find out who you are first.
Yes.
Right?
So if you are the kind that memang actually you got the money, it's just that because you got a problem with the way you spend, then you deal with the way you spend. And yes, it can be embarrassing. Why am I not driving a BM right now? Because I sold my BM lah. Simple as that Because I really had no money at the point. It's gonna drag down my finances. Spoke to my wife, sold it. That's all. Right? Yeah. Is it embarrassing? Actually, honestly, now I think back, actually no one even care whether is it embarrassing or not. My friends it didn't even cross my friend's mind. Yeah. It's just you yourself feeling it. So if you are the saving kind, deal with your ego. Deal with your bloody ego. That's all. Yeah, and that's probably the best investment that you can make at this very point in time. Hey, now,
solid.
The second thing is, for the saving side, there's only that much you can do. So there are people who really, the only way is actually to earn more. Yeah, and usually it's a combination of both, right?
But which one more than the other? We have to find out
just
first.
which one more than the other, right? Yeah, so you deal with the number one first, right? And those who need to earn more, the thing is this, just do whatever you need to earn more. Whether is it driving Grab, whether is it doing a part-time sweeping floor girl, But good thing is that these days, honestly, you want to sweep floor, so you probably don't have the opportunity lah.
Yeah.
Chances are you will be either doing MLM ke, sell insurance ke, unit trust ke, or maybe sell property ke, or either help people do some social media stuff ke, or whatever part-time that you can think about, right? Put yourself out there and then help people with some stuff. Whether it's how I invent, and easiest, drive Grab, right? That's part and parcel of it.
Start there first, right?
Just do. I've known a guy, this is a really interesting story also. Today he's a multi-millionaire. He failed a music business, and then he decided that he need to learn coding so that he thought like, okay, maybe by doing coding, I get to go somewhere, right? So he was driving Grab, and every time when he go KLIA waiting for clients, he learned coding in the car.
Wow.
Today he owns an international coding company that builds things for financial firms.
Shit.
He's a multi-millionaire.
Wow.
In USD multi-million.
Wow.
Not Malaysian multi-million.
Solid. Yeah.
So you do what you need. Simple as that. Right? So was it embarrassing for him at the time? Yes, it was, because he was the owner of a business and it failed. So he just had to drive Grab. So you do what you need lah. Nothing much to...
So it kind of sounds like both also is like put your ego down lah. Do what you...
actually...
cut your losses. You have to let go of the car or whatever, let go of something, just do it.
Yeah.
Right? And then for those who need to increase their income, then just do what you need to do lah. Don't go and say that I can't do this because I'm this and that, right?
Yes, if you need to cry after that, cry lah after that. You need to feel depressed after that. After you finish doing, I think we both are from sales background.
Yeah.
We always say this one thing. You can cry after that, right? But you go and do your appointments first.
Yeah.
After you go home and cry. Right?
Yeah.
Right? You just meet first. Trust me, after you do this for 1 year, you won't be crying anymore.
Yeah. That's true.
We all went through that, right?
Yes, 100%. So there's so many. Actually, I like to think, right? And this is my opinion. Let me know what you think about it. There's so many in today's time, right? Unlike the 1980s, I don't know how it's like in the 1980s because I was born in 1989, all right? But the point is, compared to back then, we have so many opportunities to make money, right? Starting a channel on the part-time, right? You could have done that. You could have, maybe do affiliate marketing. You could sell something, right? You could have do platform business, network marketing, right? Insurance, right? Insurance business. You can do so many things that maybe require you very little capital to start, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And I would just say that it's probably the lacking of willingness, right?
That's right.
We are so blessed today. We have so many ways to make money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can even go up to somebody and say, bro, you got this product, can I sell for you? How much margin I get, right? You can just go and offer your services, right? Yeah. And I think people don't do that because they are not doing what you are saying. Just do what you need to do, right?
That's right.
To earn the money, right? Just don't dramatize it. Just deal with it. Full responsibility, right? Yeah.
Cry later. Yeah.
You can bitch later. Then
you can bitch later. You can see therapist later, whatever. Not just do first. The problem is you put those things in front.
Yeah.
Yes. It's there's two schools of thought, and some people say take care of it. I'll be honest. I think sometimes, yes, you may come to a point that you have certain mental struggles, right? But if you let that kick in faster than solving your problem, you're guaranteed to have it continue. But when your problem's solved already, then you deal with this. Yeah. Then sometimes you may find that it miraculously disappear. Yeah. Yes, ultimately the best is you solve it together. Yeah, but it requires you to be very self-aware lah. Yeah. So I would say that like for example, people who they failed and then they feel very depressed because they failed a business or they failed a relationship. You know what will make you happy? Get a new girlfriend lah. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I see them very happy after they get a new girlfriend. Yeah. Then, but to get the new girlfriend, you need to first go out and get out first.
Yeah.
Like I say, you go out, go for 3 dates, go back home and cry, see a therapist. Do it for 1 year or half a year before you decide to end your life or whatever you want to do. Halfway through, you may find a girlfriend and you're the happiest man alive. And you say, I don't need this. Instead, right now, I'm thinking about getting married, right? Yeah. So
the problem doesn't solve itself by worrying about the problem.
That's right.
Yeah. You also one thing you said really cool, and I hope people get this was that you didn't say shut off your emotions and just whatever, right? Because dealing with emotions,
it's real. You need to feel it. Yeah. Only motivates you, man. Right.
But
no
you feel
pain, how to go.
Correct. Yeah, right. Yeah. But at the right time, there's a place and time for it, right?
That's right.
You're not trying to say, oh no lah, I don't feel bad. That's rubbish. Everyone feels something,
rubbish.
right?
Yeah.
So you said deal with the problem, and then you feel what you need to feel after you deal with the problem.
That's right.
Not the other way around, right?
That's right. So I always tell my son this thing. So my son's name is called Zhixiong, which is wisdom and courage. So I always tell him this one thing, right? From now I start drumming into it. I say, do you know what's courage and being brave?
What's that?
It doesn't mean that you have no fear. It's just that you don't freeze and not move, but rather you know how to respond to it still, despite of being afraid. That is bravery. Yeah. So you still go forward despite of fear. That is bravery. So fear is there. Don't think that there's no fear. I always tell him that. Yeah. And but I have to also put a caveat out there in terms of the mental health part. I've seen people who are truly depressed. Those who really need medicine and really, really need the kind of clinical kind, that's a different game altogether. Because really it's not about picking yourself up, man. Because that one is it's a hormonal and it's a medication, chemical kind of thing really. That one, please seek for medical help. It's not cry later that kind. I'm talking about those who haven't go to there yet. I'm talking about a different kind of people. So please don't don't do the crazy thing if let's say that one, please take medical help immediately.
Yeah, but you're referring to the majority of people who still can function, maybe just feeling a bit demotivated, a bit deflated, right?
Yeah, you're just feeling depressed. You're not in depression.
Yes.
You're feeling
Solid.
depressed.
Yeah. The same thing as failure. You're experiencing failure. You are not a failure, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so important to distinguish that. Just that distinction, that distinction alone is probably worth the conversation with the part about should I make money or should I save money first, right? Because it's not about the money anymore. It's about you need to do what you need to do.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Not that my life is I 糟糕啦, I have to sell something, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's just
I mean, there is the part of like sitting down there calculating. But those are mathematics. It's quite easy. You don't need me to teach you. Who don't know? You don't know, man. You look at your bill. You see, I already spent 500 ringgit a month on going to pubs.
Yeah.
You need me to tell you that you need to save that 500, man? You get me? So that one is the calculation.
Yes.
You know your calculation, man.
Yeah.
If you say you don't know, I don't think that's true.
I think the thing is just a way to not deal with it, right? Just to say, so I don't have to deal with it, right?
That's right.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think we all somewhat we are pretty clear about how we spend our money. Like if you really look to it, you can actually find it. It's like people say, I have no time, right? I say, no time. If you look throughout a day, how much time you use scrolling? I'm sure you can find 5 hours, right? Or 3 hours. Yeah.
I'm sure you can find half an hour or 1 hour to read something, right?
Yeah. Or do calls or do something, right? If you're in sales, for example, right? There's always time everywhere, right? It's just whether I think the keyword is willingness. And the willingness comes from, one, responsibility. We talked about it super early on. And number two is the willing to drop the ego.
Yes,
right?
ego.
Yeah. Solid, man. Now I talk about there's many opportunities out there today, right? There's you talk about it. There's MLM, there's direct selling, there's insurance, there's you can do being an influencer, you can freelance.
Yeah, you can even do voiceover and earn money, man.
Yeah. And so the question is then, what do you think Malaysians should do, right? If they want to increase their income, they're like, okay, Peter, I'm done. I'm going to cry later. I'm just going to get down to work, right? What are the places that you recommend people to take a look?
I think for an easy starter, like I say, Grab, right?
Yeah.
But it's not one of those things that can help you to build into something. Now, the second kind is the kind that helps you to discover a side hustle that ultimately could end up becoming your main gig. This one is slightly more sophisticated. It could be either if you enjoy content creation, you just start by building a channel. Start by posting things up on Instagram. I'm pretty sure for you who built your Instagram to where it is today, right? It didn't start as like, I think I'm going to be 1 million, right? Let's post first, right?
It did started like that.
There's a dream,
then the reality, boom. Like, okay,
yeah. But you just do first, right? You get me? You don't think so much and say like, how do I exactly get there first? Right? Just do first, right? So that's one thing. Now, there's a place that you can easily find ways to actually make money. There's websites like Upwork. There's websites like Fiverr or Fiverr, whatever people call it, right? So there's 1,000,001 type part-time jobs that you can find. What you can do is let's say you want voiceover, record a simple voiceover, throw it up and see whether people hire you or not. Do it for the cheapest. See whether people say good work or not. It's a good way to validate. I like writing. Charge the cheapest. Get someone to write, hire you for writing. See whether people are willing to pay you or not for the portfolio you put up. The portfolio you put up also people don't want to hire you. You need to work on it, right? True or not? And there's like so many options there on Fiverr or Upwork itself, right? Fiverr or Upwork. These two places, so many of it. So just put out that offer and then see where it goes. Even do for free if you want to, right? If people are willing to engage you, spend time to explain what they need to you, and engage you to help them, that itself for them is an investment initially. Definitely you don't be so bodoh and then after that for the next 10 times you do for free You slowly create an income from there So that is something that I think that you can start. Now definitely the biggest challenge from there will be uncertainty. So a lot of people choose to do Grab because it's much more certain.
But you mentioned two things though. One is to earn money and you need a quick certain way to make money. But at the same time, you're not neglecting the other part. So what can I build that gives me something over a longer period of time? So I think that's important for everyone to hear this. Like what Peter is pointing out is that you got to have two mindsets in money, right? One is, okay, what do I need to do to address today?
Yes.
But I need to allocate some attention to building something more sophisticated, right?
That's right.
Whether it's a skill, whether it's something that can scale and grow, right? Right? You need to find a way to scale and grow something, right?
That's right.
So you can't scale and grow Grab if you're driving yourself, because as far as I notice, all of us got 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Right? I like to know someone who has 25 hours, then I want to learn how to get that. right? You know, but you can't scale and grow that. But that pays the bills, right? Give you additional income, but you got to figure out the other part too, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because a lot of people, they focus on the first one, then they forget about the second one, right? Or they do the second one, then they don't have the first one also.
That's right. You need to have both lah. Yeah. If you're lucky enough, you can only have one, but most of the time you should have both for a period. Then you choose to just have one. And
then transition to one of it.
And then transition one.
Yeah. And that's really good advice, because I thought that, when I ask this question, people will go straight into like, okay, this, or do this, do that job, do this. But you gave a really holistic way to look at it, right? It's like a good decision-making blueprint. So yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, because I scared if I say just do Grab, then let's say I got no car. So at least I got a way out. yeah. So, but
it's very practical advice. Yeah, increase my income while thinking about what to do in the long term.
Yeah,
right? So it doesn't have to be one or the other. It's gonna be and we can do both at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe sleep a little bit less, right?
No, life choices.
Watch with Netflix.
Watch less Netflix. That's about it, right? Yeah.
Or delete a few chat groups. So it's not spending time in the chat
groups.
That's how it works, right? Okay. You've been through pretty tough times. I think all of us have that experience. And I mean, we shared our, not say all our, I like to think all of us have a dark time in our life.
Yeah.
This is the odd chance someone listening to this is going through a tough time. They probably have a circumstance that they feel they can't overcome. What's your advice to that person? Because you are a key opinion leader in what you do. And I bet that people who ask you, hey bro, like I'm this and that. I'm sure you got this kind of PMs before.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So what would your one advice be to that person?
I think this depends on how we define dark times for the person. If you're talking about someone who's like currently going through some really difficult time because of certain situation, I would love to say that I have a good advice for you, but I'll be very honest, I don't have. The only thing that I can say is this: it's okay to fail. It's okay that you're going through dark times. Yes, it hurts.
Yeah,
it's really, really bad. You don't see a way out or whatnot. But maybe by sharing how I actually personally go through it, I think the first thing for me, a step-by-step kind of thing is, I'm quite mechanical when it comes to doing emotions. Is I always ask myself, what is the true reason I'm feeling so bad? Okay, let me give you an example. At one point, right, I felt really bad about working too hard. I feel like things are not working out, and then I feel angry because I feel like the people around me, my loved one, didn't understand, right? What am I going through? And I said this one thing to my friend. I said, I'm doing all this for the family. I'm doing all this for her, or him, whatever lah, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's her lah, not him lah. So anyway, the point is, then this person said this thing to me, are you sure you're doing all these things for other people or you're doing it for yourself? Are you telling me that if they're not there, you wouldn't do this? When you earn that money, when you enjoyed the success, when you did well, when you're happy, what were you doing? You gave it all away to them? It hit me. That was the most brutal comment I get from someone when you're feeling depressed and sad, right? Yeah. But I was like, hey, actually that's true. I think those are excuses. Actually, I'm doing all this for myself. Yes, it sounds very selfish, but it's actually for myself. It's for my own satisfaction. Even building a business today, yes, I pay my staff better. Yeah. I take care of them.
But you enjoy it.
Is it really for them? Until today, right, I hold the same thing. I tell them, it's not really for you. To a certain extent, it looks like it's for you, but it's actually for my own satisfaction. because I feel like I'm a good person. That's what I get a kick out of.
Yeah.
So that's number one, right?
Yeah.
You identify what makes you feel bad or feel good. Because if you want to, I always believe that if you want to solve a problem, you need to know what's a problem first. Because if not, what will happen is, in that case specifically, even if the people around me change their attitude towards me, does it make me happier? It may not. It did not solve the problem.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for a certain reason, man. So I need to be very conscious. That will be the first step. So again, it's self-reflection, right? Then the second thing, to actually again ask yourself, does it really matter and why it matters? Yeah. And then you'll come down to your own conclusion, right? It sounds like a very hard ask because in the midst of all that emotions, right, it's hard to deal with. So if this advice doesn't sit with you, my suggestion is go and talk to someone who can talk to a therapist. Do you know what's the most powerful thing about a counselor or therapist? I think I'm who I am because I've met many good mentors. And they have this ability to pose certain questions to help you look at yourself again and reflect and think. And once you know your problem, you solve it. That's why actually I did a little bit of psychology back in university. Half of my course is psychology.
Nice.
Yeah, and one of the first things that you learn in counseling is half the problem is solved when the person know their problem. So as a psychologist or as a counselor, right, your job is not to tell them the problem. It's to ask them questions until they realize their problem.
Yes.
The issue is, most of the time, the problem is there. They refuse to acknowledge it. They will just circle around. By the time they know the problem, usually it's solved. Because humans are built in such a way to solve problems. Yeah. The only reason that you can't solve a problem is because you refuse to identify the real problem.
Solid.
Okay. So, for me, I'm a bit of an oddball. So recently, this is the first time I'm sharing this, just to let you know. Recently, I started having panic attacks.
Oh.
I started having anxiety attack last year. For the first time ever. I've never had an anxiety attack. I had one anxiety attack. The first time I had it, I thought I'm dying. I thought I had a stroke, but it's not. Usually it's triggered by something. And for me, the final trigger is often family issues. And actually it's just small argument with my wife. You know, like that month of the day, that kind of thing, right? So I complained about something funny. Then I was very stressed at work. Then it just triggered me out suddenly and I just find myself hard to breathe and so on. For quite a period of time, I never had that. Lately, my company is expanding. So definitely, you're starting to feel stress again. Right? It's not like you have financial stress. It's just that you're always thinking about what can go wrong. You're always thinking about what can go wrong, right? And I'm a worrier to a certain extent. So I always think about what can go wrong. So at one point, when like the other day when I was talking to my wife, I started realizing that I'm finding it hard to breathe. So I asked my wife this one thing. Love, your complaint right now about me, is it a real grievance because something that I've done? Or is it just like you just need to let it out of chest, right? Because I think something is going wrong. I think I'm having an anxiety attack soon. So can you tell me what, because this is important for me to process. So you tell, oh no, actually I just simple grievance. I was like, okay. Then as it start kicking in, right? I know that there's certain voices in my head that start telling you you're not good enough. You're not good enough. Then, right, I will have the other logical side tell me, this is definitely not real. But my breathing is getting faster and faster. Then I'll tell her, no, this is definitely not real. Because there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G that I've done before. This is definitely not real. Yeah. So, but I was just trying to control my breathing and answer back the question very logically. So, and why am I able to do that is because I'm very clear. I'm very, very clear. More clear lah, but is it 100%? I do not know. There's always that deeper layer that you never know. But for me, that step-by-step way of first identifying what truly makes you sad is number one. Number two is then understanding your motivation about why it matters.
Why is it significant?
Why is it significant? Yeah. And then so that you are able to have that self-conversation when a bad emotion hits, right? Then you know that like when I have that voice in my head that says, you're not worth it, you're not good enough for this whole thing, right? I can tell myself that, no, I think it's okay. I've already built it to this point. We are quite good at it. Until today, we are still quite good and things are actually growing. So what is the reason that say it's not good? So you will come up with another reason. Say, okay, but actually ultimately also, it's not about me. It's about something else that I want. Yeah, it's okay to be stressed like that. Yeah, it's just part of the process. Let's be logical about it. Yeah, so there's that weird conversation going on. And that awareness has to be, for me, I'm weird enough that I will even ask my wife, right? Hey, are you complaining right now because it's a real grievance?
Or is it off chest?
You just need to let it off my chest because I think I am actually having an anxiety attack again for the second time. Yeah. Then she was like, oh, okay. Then she support me through instead. So that ability to be vulnerable and just say,
here's what's happening right now. Yeah.
So I'm vulnerable. I'm me.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm just a human being.
Yeah.
And the quicker you accept the fact, the better lah.
Yeah.
But while you accept it, don't just slog into it and say, oh, I'm a human. Not like that lah. You know, like you need also strive lah. So.
Because it's it explains why you're so philosophical as you studied psycho. But it sounds like you have a passion for it as well. If I can just say that you really have a passion for it, like, you know, that's it.
Oh, that's philosophical stuff.
Yeah, actually you are. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I got your passion. If you guys got the passion, like, just let us know in the comments below. Definitely it is passion.
Maybe I should start a channel talking about all this.
Absolutely right. You know, but it's key, right? If you and that's why we have Keepit100 Talks. It's about the mindset and you being vulnerable is really valuable for our viewers. You know, it's valuable for me. I've gotten so much.
I'm sure I got a lot of things to learn from you, man. I watched my video, so you've gone through a hard time, man.
All of us do. All of us do, right? Like, you know, but the point is that, you know, you said something really golden, right? People going through, I think it applies for everybody. You know, number one, like, you know, find out, like, being able to sit with yourself, like, get, you know, you say you will know the solution, but people dance around dealing with accepting it. Dance around with that, not just accepting it is number one, right? That's it. And you say that when you know, if you know it and you accept it, the solution comes already. More if not, the solution is already there, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Or you even say something, right? That you already solved the problem, right? Or not even solution.
Yeah, usually you have some sort of a solution in your mind.
Yeah.
A rough idea of how to get there at the end.
Yeah.
The issue is not being to accept how vulnerable and how ugly you are actually.
Yeah. And that's uncomfortable. And something you tied in earlier is not convenient, right? It's more convenient to turn on Netflix and then
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's more convenient, you know, to do all those things than to actually deal with it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, to actually deal with what you're actually feeling, and then, you know, okay, why is it so significant, right? You talk about all that with your wife, and I do that. I also fight with my, you know, we get into, right? You know, normal, right? Normal. But yeah, in certain moments I just have to go like, okay, what was it? Right? Instead of saying sorry, like, okay, what was it? Right? And and I think you know, when you share all of that, I saw myself there as well, because you talk about panic attacks, anxiety. I got all of that, and I beat myself up, you know, and stuff like that, like mentally beat myself up, everything, rather than just going and say, okay, what's the deal, right? And when you say like, I'm not good enough, I can totally relate to you. Like that, that's the same voice. That, I'm not good enough, right? You know, not good enough, not good enough. But that's not the point, right? The point is, it's not about me. You know, the moment I could hear myself actually trying to avoid that I'm not being good enough, then I could start hearing what's really going on around me. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And then I just realized that, oh, okay, it's not about me. Actually, it's just...
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
yeah. Keep telling yourself you're not good enough itself, right? Actually, it's a way to run away from a real problem, you know? Because it's actually not even about yourself.
Yeah.
It's just like that. There is certain things that's happening. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
And keep telling yourself that you're not good enough. It's actually a way of just avoiding dealing with the problem and throw up the flag.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And running around it, like you say, you know, going around it rather than just dealing with it. Yeah. And you know, it's going to be uncomfortable. I think, you know, vulnerability is tough because it's never comfortable. Yeah. It's never ever uncomfortable. And I think, you know, you demonstrated today in today's podcast that you're really able to get there. And
no, still learning.
We all are, right?
Still
but
learning.
You're really there. And I hope that inspires, you know, our viewers today to really be uncomfortable with yourself, like to deal with those things that you have to deal with, you know, because behind that, and someone who's experienced it myself, you know, is freedom, really freedom, because you're no longer bounded by those things, right? You're slowly peeling off layers and layers. And I know that we started about money, but I think this kind of mindset allows you to be a freedom around money, freedom around your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Others is all technical, quite not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, right. You know, we have so many technical information out there. You can Google, you can find articles, you can even learn things for such a low price, buy books for so cheap. But it's the mindset, right? And
that's right.
Yeah. So I'm thank you so much for sharing today, because what you share is super valuable. It's outside what the books give, outside what technical things are. I always think this conversation will go very technical, but it always goes up very mindset. But I think it's more valuable than the technical. But technical, I say it's all out there, right? You can get one, it will all come together.
Just go and watch my YouTube channel, can
you? Right? It's free, right? It's free. You don't have to pay money for it, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Peter. Guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel. And let us know in the comments below, what did you get out of it? And if you have any questions for MrMoneyTV or Peter Yong, link in the description below for his Instagram, IG, you're contactable over there, right? Yep. Okay. And so subscribe to his channel. All right. I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And
thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me here. I hope you guys enjoyed. And maybe take this weekend off and instead of scrolling Netflix, have a deep conversation with your partner or yourself.
I really learned about this guy today, man. Right? He's really his approach in the mindset psychology part is it's so easy to follow. Actually, it's very easy to follow. Yeah. Passion is definitely there, right? And you should talk more about it, because I really enjoy it, right? Thank you so much, Peter. Right. Yeah. And guys, take some time with yourself, all right? And keep it 100 always, right? Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in another podcast. This podcast is managed and also created with Sparks Digital. Now, why should you listen to this ad? Because content creators like myself, we got so many things to do. And if you're a content creator or you're a marketing person or trying to reach out to more people, creatives are one of the most important part. How to do something, what to do, ideas and stuff like that. And I rely a lot on the team in Sparks Digital to create content, just like this one over here. So look, if you need help with ideas, campaigns, or even dealing with crisis management, whatever, these people, they're really smart and they're really fun to work with. And the best part is that it keeps giving me fresh ideas on how to grow my channel and also my influence, right? So big shout out to Sparks Digital. You want to find out more? Link in the description below, and let them know that Thomas sent you. Maybe to give you a special discount. I don't know. Sparks Digital.